Um, I hope. Hang on, give me 1 second. It's being some weird, giving some weird message. I don't know, but hopefully you can see me and chat with me. 1 second. Oh, that is not what I wanted to click on. I need to check one thing. If you're joining me on my personal Facebook page, I think I need to hurry and switch it so that it is um, public. And that way you can chat with me if I can figure out how to do it. I thought I had it switched, and apparently I didn't. Um, I don't know how to switch it. Comment, maybe? I don't know. Okay. Well, hopefully I can see your chats. If you're chatting with me on my personal page and I'm not getting back to you or responding, please jump on my Stampin' with Candice page and I should be able to see you there, or you can jump on YouTube. But I'm Candice Anderson coming to you live from Hiram, Utah, and I'm excited to share my projects today. If you've been following along this month, I've been participating in 2 Christmas card challenges. One is the Card a Day in November. Done by my friend Kevin Thiessen. And the other one is a 30-day Christmas card making challenge. The person putting it together is Martin Stone. I actually have no idea who that is, but he's got some great ideas and lots of fun challenges. One of the tricks with his, though, is when he does a color challenge, they are not Stampin' Up! Colors. They're Concord and Ninth is what it says. I am not familiar with that company because I try to stick with the company that um, I know and I'm using and I have the products for. So I have 2 different kind of versions of this card because I wasn't quite sure which of my colors matched the best. So for the card a day in November, the card challenge is Snowman Shenanigans. And it reads, stacked snowman melting fun, or you melt my heart. And again, it's color challenge, plumberry, rainforest, and lilac. So we're going to get started. We're going to switch cameras here and get started. So I decided to go with my first one. I think I had, what color green was it? I went with Berry Burst. What else did I do? Give me a second here. I put them away. Petunia Pop. So this is my darker purple and my lighter purple that I went with, and I paired it with Mossy Meadow. So I will show you that card when I get to the end. If I don't, give me a shout out and I will be sure to share it with you. But instead, I decided to switch because just watching some of the samples that others did, and I'm going to be using Pretty Peacock, Fresh Freesia, and Blackberry Bliss. I am pulling in a little bit of Pool Party. I did on the other one, and pecan pie, not pumpkin pie, and our standard black and white. So I've pre-stamped a lot. I am going to color because I want to show you a few things. But the biggest thing I want to show you is how to cut this this card out and score it, because it is a fun fold card. So we're going to grab our cutting and scoring thing here. And I'm going to grab my instructions so that I can see them here. And my paper is cut at 4 1/4 by 10 1/2. So I did cut a 1/2 inch off right here. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move my cutting blade out of the way. And I'm going to move my scoring blade up to the top. So I'm marking it at 3 inches, and I am going to score down to 2 3/4 inches. Then I'm going to slide it over to 5 1/2, and I'm going to go all the way up and down on this one. And then I'm going to slide it over one more time to my 8 inch mark, and I'm going to go up to that 2 3/4, which is basically 1 1/4. No, 1 1/2 inches. So you have your quarter, so 1 1/2. So that's our scoring part. Then we're going to pull it out, and you can kind of see, if you look really close, you can see the score line here and here, but it's 1 1/2 inches. So we're going to line it up on my 1 1/2. We're going to move my scoring blade out of the way, and we're going to start at our 3 inch, which was our first score line. And then we're going to bring it all the way down to our 8 inch, which was our last score line. Now, my card that I wish I knew who made it. There wasn't a name on the back of it. But when she made hers, she actually did, her measurements were slightly different because the card ended up 5 1/4, and I wanted it 5 1/2. So I did change it a little bit. The other thing she did is she did score all the way through. I didn't want it scored all the way through. I wanted it solid. So if it's easier, you can score it all the way through. Then we're simply going to fold it like so. So if you can see here really quick, I folded the small part out and or towards me and the big part away from me. And we'll use our bone folder and get a nice crisp line on that. And when it folds and finishes, it should be the 5 1/2 inches. You'll see that it is a little bit shorter on the back, but that's kind of your base of your card. Then again, you don't have to do it this way. You can, so these are my scratchy notes, but you can do a piece here and a piece here. And I just realized I think I forgot to cut one piece for this. I did. That's okay. We will hurry and cut it here in a second. But I am using some designer paper. This is the, what is this one called? It's one from last year. You've seen me use it several times if you've watched. It is the Seasons of Elegance paper. And I am using the Pretty Peacock and not the gold side. And we're going to put it here. But what we're going to do is we're going to put this in here, and we are going to do it at 2 3/4. Hang on. This way. Sorry. 2 3/4. And then we're going to come down 2 3/4. And then we're going to turn it this way at 1 1/4. And we're going to start at our 2 3/4. Oh my goodness, if I can hold it in place here. I'm going to start at our 2 3/4, maybe. And we're going to come down this way. So it should theoretically cut out to fit with a border along there. This piece here, you're going to cut it into 2 1/4 by 1 1/4 to fill in this spot right here. So we're just going to cut it 1 1/4 and 2 1/4. And it will go right here. So that's kind of how that's going to look. Now, I did stamp and cut out on this piece here for all of my background stuff. But for this part here, so now I've just layered. You can do single, you can do multiple. I did multiple colors here, and these are going to go in here. And I just did 1/4 inch smaller for each one. So I believe it starts out, what does it start at? 2 1/4 by 2 1/2, then 2 by 2 1/4, then 1 3/4 by 2. And then these are 2 1/4 by 4, 2 by 3 3/4, and then 1 3/4 by 3 1/2. If you're matching what I'm doing here. So here's the trickier fun part here. This one I had a um, 1 3/4 by 4 3/4 piece, and it's going to go right here. But I used the dies from this Light and Wonder set. And one of these ones could work really well too. This is very simple, but I'm trying to create snow was my plan. And then there's this little one right here that I have also cut out for my snow. So we're going to move these aside here. And I'm going to show you how I stamped this. The one piece that I am probably missing is this one. Oh, sweet. It's the right size. It just needs to be 3 3/4, I believe. Should be, hang on. 4, yep, 3 3/4 by 2 1/2, because that's 2 3/4. Yeah. Okay, so that was the other piece that I needed. So I'm going to take all of these white ones here really quick, and we are going to set them all aside, and then we're going to set the rest of this aside until we get it actually put together. So I am using a couple different stamp sets. I am using the pine tree trimmings here, and then, believe it or not, I am using the Darling Dinos. Again, if you saw my card the other day, I used the Darling Dinosaurs to make some reindeer, and this time we're going to use them for a snowman, but we're going to do a little bit of a twist. But we're going to make this tree here really quick. And I want to show you how I did this just because it made it kind of easy to do it. So I'm using the Pretty Peacock and the pecan pie. This is really the only reason I have the pecan pie. Well, I have two reasons for it. But I want to get this little stem here. So the easiest thing that I have found is if I go to the corner, maybe if I flip it this way, you can see. If I go to the corner, then I can ink that up without getting it on the tree part of it, like if I went straight. So just a little trick there. And then we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to ink this one up. And again, I'm kind of going at that little bit of an angle so that I can get close to that uh, tree trunk. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. And then you can stamp it and get it out. Now, there is a die you can cut it out with. I did fussy cut it just because I wanted the more jagged parts. So here's what it's going to look like when you're finished on that one. Okay, so a few more pieces before we do this really quick. So in the, I don't need that many. In the Christmas tree one, there's this little piece here. So I've cut two of those out of the lilac. This is I cut a little present out of that extra piece here. And then I've cut a star out of the, what is this? Blackberry Bliss. And sorry, I've got two of each of these. Um, just so you can see what else we've cut out. So we've cut out pretty much every piece that was in this that you could die cut. So I've got the taller presents. I've got this one twice. And then these pieces come from our Darling Dinos. So we are using the little leaves here. We're going to be using the hat, this hat and this hat. We have the heart, and then we are going to be using these little guys. So this is the other thing I've cut in or I stamped in that pecan, and I stamped the little feet. So these are the little feet print on both of them here. So these I'm just going to fussy cut, and you're probably getting a quick idea of what I'm going to be doing with these as you're looking at the pieces here. At least if you're familiar with Frosty, you should be figuring it out here real quick. Um, and my first card, I just kind of stamped this. My second card, I stamped it, and then I fussy cut some and put it over the top. I liked that better, but it depends on how much fussy cutting you want to do, because it really, you can kind of do whatever you want on this, and it works just fine. Um, I don't know. We may or may not cut the rest of those out. Now we're going to do a little bit of coloring. Again, I wanted you to see what I'm doing here. I am just going to take some of my, what color is this? Pumpkin? Light pumpkin. And we're going to color this one in. Instead of using my darker color, my peacock, I'm going to use Lost Lagoon because it's a little bit lighter for what I want to do here. This is the dark, and I'm just going to do this part, and then I'm going to do little leaves here. It pairs really well with pecan, but it's just not, yeah, with pecan. Pretty peacock, sorry, but it's just not quite as dark, and I didn't want this quite as dark. All right, and then we are going to grab our lilac or freesia. Yeah, fresh freesia, that's what we're using. Not blackberry bliss. We want fresh freesia. I can't talk. All right, which is kind of our lilac color that we're going with. We're going to start with the darker, and we're going to add in the lighter. Now, if I wanted to add a little bit more dark to this, I could definitely add, in fact, we're going to grab it and show you. I can add a little bit of the blackberry if I want to kind of darken this up just a little bit on the edges, because they pair very, very nicely together. And I'm going to fill in my heart as well. All right, and the last part we're going to cut is this. Now, one of the things you want to be careful with when you're cutting this one, you want to make kind of long here before you cut them out, instead of cutting them right to the edge. And that is so you have something to kind of attach them with. You'll see here in a minute what I'm talking about. And I should have pre-done some of this, but life gets in the way. Been trying to enjoy the beautiful weather we've been having. I know it says it's supposed to be snowing soon, but right now we still have beautiful weather. So we've been out walking at night, and it's just nice. It was cooler tonight, though, that is for sure. All right. So here is all our little pieces. We're going to set all of them aside for a minute. And I want I needed to color these guys really quick. What colors do I want to do them? I'm going to do this and this. Add a little bit. Woo! It ran away. Okay, I guess we're not using that one because it went clear under the table. We'll grab it a little later. And we're going to do this one here. I love how our blends make it really easy to color and just have fun definition. All right, now we can move these out of the way, but I want to keep a few of these close because we're going to do something to them in a minute. Now for these ones here, move these again. We're going to grab our pool party, which again pairs very beautifully with these colors. And we're going to grab our blending brush and we're going to just blend the edges on all of this. Like I said, I should have hurried and done this before, but I ran out of time. I was trying to prep as much of it as I could beforehand. So you get to sit and watch for a second. Thankfully, this goes pretty quickly. This month, in fact, in about 2 weeks, I will be celebrating 20 years as a demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I have a lot of friends who are down in Vegas for their backstage conference right now. I wasn't able to attend, but I'm excited to see what they bring back and share. So that will be super fun. Um, but I am hoping to have some events on, I think it's the 22nd, Saturday, which is my actual anniversary. So hopefully I can get some information posted. I want to do some online stuff and some uh, in-person stuff. Definitely want to have a kit together. If you don't know what that is, we have a bunch of awesome Stampin' Up! Kits, and you'll be able to pre-order them and come and make them and go home with some cute, fun projects. Um, or you can join online and do the same thing. So be watching for information on that. Okay, we're almost done here. Last one. And I love how adding this pool party just kind of gives that feeling of, I don't know, kind of a snow. And we're gonna grab this out and wipe this off really quick. All right, so we're gonna set that one aside and these two aside because we don't need to stamp on them. Now remember, these ones are 1/4 inch taller than they are, what's the word I'm looking for? Height-wise than width-wise. So just make sure that they're going the right way. And we're going to take the little snowflake, and I believe this is coming out of a little cheer. So I'm using this snowflake and then the Merry Christmas in this one. And just kind of stamping the edges just a little bit here. How much do I want to do on this one? I think this is the one I want more. All right, that should be good. So now we have all our pieces and we can start doing some fun stuff. One thing we're going to do is we're going to take our Wink of Stella and we're just going to kind of brush the edges of these, give it a little bit of sparkle. And you can do like, kind of like to go a little bit over the um, snowflakes a little bit. Like I said, just adding that little bit onto the edge. And I know it's really hard to see in the camera, but I promise it really does make a difference. Let's see if I can pull it up there. There you go. You can kind of see the sparkle on there, but it just adds to the card. If you don't have a Wink of Stella, I highly, highly recommend getting one. I usually have several in my stash and backups, and if it starts getting low, I order another one because it is one of my favorite things to add sparkle without adding a whole lot of mess. Um, all right, and then we're going to add it to this one, but this one I didn't stamp the snowflakes on. And we're going to add it to this one. And then a few more elements here. I'm going to add it to my presents because it just makes them fun. And to the middle of my hat. And then we're going to add it to our star and to these here. And, oh, one more. Got to pull it out. And last but not least, our little heart here. Going to add it to that one as well. All right, now we are ready to put this fun card together, and I really hope you like it here. Where's my glue? All right. These are the easy parts. We're just going to layer really quick, maybe. And then this one is getting this one on it. Too much glue. This one here, I think I forgot to, if I did. We are going to grab our blackberry bliss really quick here. And we're going to stamp our Merry Christmas up here. And then we are going to stamp sending a little cheer down here. Hopefully I went low enough with that. All right, and one last thing. This is where I was trying to decide which ribbon to put across here. The white or the purple. The purple is Petunia Pop, but I still think it works. That's one thing I've noticed about the ribbons is a lot of times, even though they are a certain color, um, they still work, complement well with similar colors. And we're going to tie that one across there before we attach it to our card. All right, so there's that one. Put these ones together really quick. All righty. And this one. This is the simple part. So I specifically left these ones so that you can put your message kind of, or if you're going to write, um, be writing on this part here. And that's because when you close the card, you won't see it. So it makes it so that the message is hidden inside the card, essentially, because you close it up and you won't see it. This one's going to go right here, which you can see part of it. The little bottom part is going to be hidden, and then you'll see the sending cheer when you open it up. So you could right here. I think this would be a cute place to like sign your name so they can see who it's from, and then you have your message on the inside. And then we're going to attach this piece right here. And like I said, you can do this the same here and have this one. In fact, the one she made, it is how it was done. I did this one differently, and you'll see why in a minute. But if you wanted to simplify, her card might be over there, and I will show it to you if I remember in the end. We're going to put this one here. Okay, so now for the magic part. You got to put one more of these on here. So we're going to start with this one, and we're going to go directly down onto it. So I have cut it the full length, and it's okay that it's overlapping this one because it's got that edge. And apparently I went a little too short with my paper. That's okay. We'll make it work. We're just gonna pull it so it sits kind of like that. And we're gonna do this one so it sits off. I'm curious, did I do this one the wrong size too? Yep, I sure did. That's okay. It will still work. Oh, this one was not supposed to be glued. Silly me. Okay, we're gonna grab dimensionals, and we're gonna put them here, and we're gonna put a big old strip so it stays nice and high since I accidentally put glue on it. All right, because we want to pop this off of here. And kind of give it some different layers. Now we're going to take our tree and we're going to add dimensionals to it as well. But we are going to tuck it back down underneath this one just a little bit and center it on there. And I'm going to use a mini glue dot to attach my star. Now I'm going to show you for our decorations here. I'm going to take these and I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to cut off just one. And then on this one, I am going to cut and I just kind of cut it and round it a little bit. So I'm going to cut it in 3 and in 4. And we'll round the edges off a little bit on that. So I'm going to start with the 3. And we're going to just kind of put it here. And then we're going to do the 4 with the 1. so that we get 5 going down here. And then this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, looks like. And you cut it off. So a quick, easy way to decorate that little tree up. Um, then here goes the fun part. So we are going to turn this little guy here into our snowman. However, our poor snowman, it got a little too hot and he is melting. So we're going to pop him up and I'm going to just kind of go over this edge just a tiny bit here. And then I'm going to add one here, maybe for the little hat. And I'm going to cut off the end of this one just a little bit. And we'll add a tiny dab of glue here so we can put it on the hat. Now we're going to take this one here and we're going to cut this part off. And now we've got a cute little carrot nose. And I'm actually going to tuck it up underneath this so it's a little bit smaller, not quite as big. Maybe. Of course, I'm right where that is. That's okay. Add some glue to the end. And then, sorry, I'm getting glue on my fingers and it's all sticky. This is where I was saying why I have these a little bit longer. I'm going to use a mini glue dot here and I'm going to attach it kind of back behind on this so it's kind of sticking up and out. I'm going to do the same thing to this one, which is why I left that little bit extra length there so that it can kind of stick out. So it looks like he's kind of falling all melted down. And we're going to add some little eyes that have melted. Yes, this poor little snowman. Okay, I will cut those out and add those little bits there. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to add the little presents here. And I do have a bow for this one. And we're going to use dimensional for this one. I'm going to put it over by the tree. And we'll use some dimensional on this one as well. And stick it over here. So now we have our cute little melted snowman. When we close it, this is how it's all finished and looks. And then we open it back up. Oh, we forgot our heart. We want to add our little heart because his heart fell. I'm going to put it right here. So how fun is that? Do you like those colors? Definitely non-traditional, but very fun. So this is my other one that I made. And this was with the Petunia Pop, Berry Burst, and Mossy Meadow. Same kind of idea. Oh, I almost forgot. We want to add some of these. I'm trying to decide which color I think we're going to do with these ones. To add like the little kind of berries on the top of the thing. Now, I did do one, my very first card, I did it opening up and down, and I did it in different colors. So this is my very first one that I did, and it opens this way. You can see a little bit different, but again, the little snowman that's kind of melting. And I'll show you her original card here. Again, I don't have the name of who made this card, but you can see that she did smaller paper, a little bit smaller papers here, and did this one just by itself. Super cute card. Whoever you were, thank you for the inspiration. I hope you enjoyed my Christmas card challenge. You can visit my blog. I will get that posted up here in just the next little bit, and I will have all the measurements there if you want to try and recreate this fun little card. So, thank you again for joining me. I hope you have a fabulous night. I will see you back here next week at 7:30. And like I said, watch for more information for my big party to celebrate my 20th anniversary this month. So thanks again. Have a fantastic day. Bye bye.